once again.
Hello, it's Jimmy here. Already looking at a Mercedes here. Well, I have to look at it. I've not looked at it right yet, but let's get started. Okay, so the customer's complaining of various electrical faults. He's had it at a few garages to look at. Well, I don't know how many, but he said he's had people looking at it, and it's got basically maybe around 50 different electrical faults, and he keeps getting messages on the dash about charging system, keep the engine running. Okay, so I've got the ignition switched on. I'm going to use the KingBolen K8 here to do a health report. This might take a bit of time to go through. And again, like I always say, I'll put a link to where you can get this tool from in the video description. It's the KingBolen K8. Okay, so the scan is finished. Let's have a look. We have selected catalytic reduction faults, implausible data received from the traction system, starter battery has excessive resistance, so I think that's going to be the main cause there. Circuit 15 has a malfunction, short circuit to positive. Electric steering lock implausible data from the sensor, yaw rate, traction control, implausible data from the control units, no reception, high frequency from the sensors, communication of the left tire pressure sensor, power supply to the hydraulic valves has a malfunction. So it's all power supply faults, and you got B210D00 power supply voltage too low. You can see there we're down to 11.8 volts just by doing the scan here. Should have round about just over 12 volts or 12.5 volts there really. So it looks like we have a faulty battery. Let's start the engine up, see if we get that message that he's talking about. I'm not sure how long it would take for it to come up, but I've seen the message before and I've done this repair before as well. Okay, there is the message: stop the vehicle, leave engine running. Because what that is trying to do now is the battery voltage is so weak and the resistance is so high within the battery, the alternator is trying to compensate by putting charge into it consistently, and it just never reaches the voltage that it wants to, and you're going to just keep getting this message come up. And like I said, it will cause all sorts of electrical issues. Looks like we don't even have the display working over here. I'm not sure if that's switched off, but I've seen a few cars have this battery issue, and it either fries the module that controls the screen there. So I'm not sure if that's working. Let me see if that will turn on. Oh no, it is, it's working. Okay, so I've got the bonnet up. We should have the battery over this side under this plastic case in here, so we might need to get this rubber up, open these. So it looks like we've only got that one over there, and we've got another one here. That's up. Can remove that, and we've got the cabin filter that sits just here. Should just be able to pop that up really. Up and outwards. A little bit fiddly to do one-handed. There we go. So already there, I can think that's the issue there. You can see it's the original Mercedes battery that it came fitted with. Now this being a AGM battery, 80 amp hour, 800 amps there, it is an expensive battery. My supplier is coming up with a price of just over £200, but we're going to put a tester on this and see what it says. So to test the battery, I'm going to use this from Launch. This is the Launch Eurotab 3 from Launch UK. We'll cancel that for a minute. We need to go to Toolbox, and then we'll get the battery tester set up. This is the BST 360 battery tester that goes with the Launch Eurotab 3. So just get these connected up to the both sides of the battery there. Now we can go on here and look for the BST 360 and we're going to do a battery health test. It is an AGM stop-start battery, European, and we have 800 amp, or close as possible. State of charge is 12%. The vehicle's only just been turned off. State of health is 3%. Starting current 130 amp. Internal resistance is 17, which is very high. So it's saying we need to replace the battery. Okay, so before I disconnect the battery, we're going to take the key out. Now just down here we have a clamp bolt right there. A couple of 10mm bolts, pretty straightforward. Okay, so I'm going to use a long extension on a 13mm to get down there onto that bolt. Get that loosened off. Then we can just open the terminals here with just a 10mm spanner or a 10mm socket, whichever one you want to use. Don't need to open them all the way, just loosen them a little bit. So I've pulled off the tracker here that we've got fitted to the car, and we can just lift off the terminals from each side. Just pull them away from the battery there. So because this terminal is a little bit in the way, it's a bit tight, we can't really move it. We're just going to disconnect that from there with a 13mm bolt again. Just over here, remove the vent. Now if we test the battery out of the car, got a slightly different reading, but still we have 6.9 resistance. It's saying replace the battery, but the state of health now on this is coming up as 16%. Obviously with it off the car, it's got a little bit less drain on it. Okay, I've got a new battery here ready to fit from USA. So that was just delivered there to me by Bennett's. Okay, so the new battery's all fitted in now. Now we just need to get our scan tool here reconnected. Hopefully this won't need to be fully reset again and do a rescan. Hopefully we can just get this to reconnect here. Okay, so we're going to have to do the rescan again because it just doesn't want to reconnect. After disconnecting the battery, it's obviously confused the diagnostic system here. Okay, now we're back in here. We're just going to press clear for all of these faults. Okay, so that's it. All of the faults have cleared now. And you can see there on the voltage we got 12.65 volts now with the engine off. So now if we start the vehicle up, we'll cycle ignition off again, start it up, and everything is all good. Okay, so now we've disconnected the diagnostic tool. You can see now that message is not coming up anymore about the keep the engine running. So that's it, we're all finished on that. It was just a simple battery change basically, and see you in the next video.